best in Spring television. Ours it is. All right, another day, another time to talk sport. It is Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. My name is Joseph. There were lots of drama at the UEFA Champions League match played yesterday at San Siro. 2-0 in 11 minutes in favor of Inter Milan. But the fans of AC Milan, they sent a message to Inter Milan ahead of the second leg. And in simple words, Helvada is empty as all the devils will be available in the second leg. Welcome once again.
And as a matter of fact, the game between AC Milan and Inter Milan, a very special derby that took place yesterday, wasn't close to what we can call a contest in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Now, the show sets to be a very interesting one yet today, and definitely we'll start off from the local scene. Before we advance into the second half of the show and talk about international football, and aside from that, we'll also bring you news in the world of tennis as well as the NBA. I am Nengi Ernesta Demola, and thanks for joining us this morning.
However, we start from the local scene. We start with the Federation's Cup.
Exactly.
Insurance Rangers are they through to the next round? That's the round of 16 rather, Nengi.
Of course they are true. Now, the likes of Bendel Insurance of Benin and Insurance Feeders team have joined a host of others in qualifying for the 2023 Federation Cup round of 16. Now, for the only undefeated team in the NPFL this season, Bendel Insurance maintained their run by defeating Abuja FC 1-0, with Ismail Saraki and Imade Osarenkoi combining the 72nd minute to score the lone goal. Now, the round of 32 games were littered around the nook and cranny of the nation, from the UJ Esweni Stadium in Calabar to the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos, and also the Akwa City Stadium in Anambra, to mention but a few centers. Now, cities like Lokoja, Owerri, Abuja, and Oshogbo also hosted games as a Federation Cup on Wednesday was as eventful as it comes. Now, in Oshogbo, a brace from Samad Kadri in the 26th and in the 69th minutes, plus Ahmed Jimo's 19-minute strike, gave Kwara United a 3-1 win over Ikorodu FC. Elsewhere, Sunshine Stars leveraged on Michael Olalusi's double to surpass Standard FC 2-0, with Idel FC qualifying for the next round against Malantaki FC following a 1-0 scoreline. Now, beyond regulation time, the likes of EFCC, FC, Plateau United, and Warri Wolves all needed the lottery of penalty shootouts to out Aqua United, Eyimba and Shooting Stars respectively in their centers. Now, let's give you full results of how it looked like yesterday, full time across all the looks and cranny where the matches took place. Now, Nasra United 3, DMD FC 2, Ahudia FC 0, Vendel Insurance 1, Shooting Stars 0, Warri Wolves 0. Now, Warri Wolves 1-3-4 on penalties. Kwara United 3, Korodu FC 1, Idel FC 1, Mailantaki 0, Standard FC 0, Sunshine Stars 2, Osun United 1, Insurance Feeder 2. Of course, Insurance Feeder are also through to the round of 16. Plateau United 2, Eyimba 2. Now, Plateau 1-3-2 based on penalties. Aqua United 1, EFCC 1. EFCC also won 5-6 on penalties. Definitely they are through to the next round. Rangers 2, Kano Pillars 0, Doma United 4, and Eburaja FC 0.
Away from the Federation's Cup, let's talk about the Liga proper. We're following the unruly behavior of their fans against our Remo Stars last weekend. The hammer of the interim management committee, that's the IMC, has fallen on Plateau United. Now, playing at the New Jos Stadium, Plateau United suffered a 1-2 defeat to the Sky Blue Boys. The club fans reacted poorly to the outcome of the game, and IMC has decided to take action against them. According to the list, the latest from the football body, the club has been fined 2.5 million, while 3 goals and 3 points were deducted from accumulated points and goals. The stadium has also been closed to the fans, which means Plateau United's next home game will be played behind closed doors. The defeat means the hope of Plateau United securing one of the playoff spots has been dashed. And honestly, I saw this news and I was happy. I mean, this is a huge blow. Forget the 2.5 billion.
Yeah.
But then the 3.3 goals, a chance to play on the continent.
Yeah.
Has been
dashed, just like they put it. Exactly. Now, of course, we would always want to talk about the IMC so far with what they've been doing concerning conduct over unruly behaviors from fans of each and every of those clubs. I mean, they've been able to curb that, if I want to say, to the barest minimum somehow in the NPFL for their bridge league season. And, you know, Joseph, for some days now, I think we started this discussion on a Tuesday and Wednesday yesterday. For some days now, we've been talking about the fact that so much needs to be done, most especially as it remains just 3 matches to the end of their bridge league when it comes to the NPFL. And of course, reasons why fans all over are talking about the fact that security needs to be tight in every match center, owing to the fact that we just have 3 matches remaining. It's because of such unruly behaviors, because aside from that, you want to see that manipulation might come from the areas of the referee or from the fans also. And definitely, just like you've rightly stated, Joseph, it's a huge blow, because aside from the fine, they have 3-point deduction. I mean, dashing away their hopes to be able to get the slot for the Super 6 competition.
Well, I hope these fans will go back to their bed regretting their actions, knowing fully well that they've cost, because of the stupid action of some set of people, they've cost millions of people the opportunity to watch their darling team not showcase themselves in an ordinary tournament, but then on the global stage, on the continent, I should say. Talk about, say, CAF Champions League or the Confederations Cup, because if they had maintained that result or that point they had amassed throughout the season, they would have gotten one of the 6 slots for the Super 6. And who says they can't qualify and represent Nigeria on the continent? So I'm sure when the CAF Confederations Cup or the Champions League is on, they will sit back and, you know, think that they should have done better. And that's the situation here. So they should come out next season and do the same. Another 3 points. 3 goals will be deducted, and a huge fine will still be placed on you guys. And I hope we develop sense and understand that football is a game to enjoy and nothing more.
Exactly. And now, still talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League, clubs in Group A of the abridged 2022 and 2023 NPFL League have expressed their displeasure over the proposed dates for the Super 6 playoff by the interim management committee of the league. Now, this is according to the Punch. Now, in a letter sent to the clubs, which was obtained by the Punch correspondent, the IMC proposed May 23rd to June 3rd for the Super 6 playoff, while the regular season in Group B will end May 21st. Now, according to the IMC, the need to accommodate the outstanding fixtures of Rivers United necessitated a shift in schedule, while match day 18 will be completed in Group A on May 14th as scheduled. Now, the proposed schedule leaves potential top 3 teams for the playoff in Group B with just 2 days to make the trip to Lagos, venue of the Super 6. And according to the Lobby Stars chairman, Dominic Lofa, he queried, and in his words, and I quote, "How can the club play a match away from home and you are asking the club to report after 2 days for other crucial games like the playoff?" Now, latest reporting time will be Thursday for Saturday or Sunday to kick off my take on the matter. Now, aside from that, an official of a club whose team is involved told the correspondent that on condition of anonymity, that the halt in match day 18 games till May 21st is unfair to one of the groups. Now, of course, I think this particular question being asked by the Lobby Stars chairman in person of Dominic Iofa. He says, how can a club play a match away from home and you're asking the club to report after 2 days for other crucial game like the playoff? I think there's been a bit of unbalance right here.
Well, to be honest, it's totally unfair. If we had a good vote network, maybe that would have even been possible.
Or if they can travel by air.
Yeah, and I mean, it's totally unfair. I actually agree. I mean, a crucial game, the final game of the season, and after the game, they have to travel for a big game or competition like the playoffs. They need time to rest. They want to perform. Exactly. But I'm sure that Elegbeleye, who is the head of the IMC, will look into this in no time. And
of course, they've also called on the IMC to take a critical look into that, as it is not the fault of the clubs that some fixtures had to be postponed. Now, still talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League, we're going to have a match today. Wiki Tourist is going to take on Rivers United. Of course, with it's no longer news that some of these outstanding fixtures have to be played. They just have to be played. And not forgetting the fact that Rivers United were representing us at the CAF Confederation Cup. That was why, they had some of these hiccups when it comes to the matches in Group B. But today, we'll see Wiki Tourist take on Rivers United. And let's not forget that the former, I think during the weekend, Wiki Tourist got a huge victory against their opponents. But let's see what they can be able to do to Rivers United this time.
And away from that, Brahima Traore says teamwork will help his Burkina Faso team beat five-time world champions Nigeria in Thursday's Total Energies Under-17 African Cup of Nations, the quarterfinals in Algiers. Traore says they expect a difficult duel against the Golden Eaglet, but teamwork will be the crucial ingredients to take them through. They face Nigeria once again, having come up against them in the final of the WAFU Zone B qualification tournament, with Nigeria winning 2-1. But the coach expects a different matchup altogether. It's a due day, Nigeria versus Burkina Faso. It's a ticket to the semi-finals.
Exactly.
And we have some big boys already through. And you see, when you put your house in order, things will work. It's no news. As predicted, it was very easy to predict, considering the master plan that has been put on.
And the development so far. Exactly.
Like
Morocco, Senegal. Exactly. Yeah, it's no rocket science, actually, Joseph. It's not a magic, but they've been able to put their house in order, just like you've rightly stated.
And after watching these guys, there was on the road, I think I was going home yesterday, and young guys, I heard them discussing the Under-17 watching. They were saying the local dialect, Chetibi Senegal, simply. Morocco, do you understand what they're saying? The way they play very exciting football. And with all due respect to the Golden Eaglet, they will win today, I believe, and make it to the semi-final. But that is where the competition starts.
Exactly, that is where it starts, guys. Honestly. Now, you talk about the Golden Eaglets also. Now, the Nigerian Golden Eaglets defender, Emmanuel Michael, says they can beat Burkina Faso again, as he declared their readiness for the game against the Young Stallions. Now, the last quarterfinal of the ongoing Under-17 African Cup of Nations on Thursday, that is today, we will see our Golden Eaglets confronting Burkina Faso in Algeria. And just like Joseph has rightly stated, recall when Nigeria won 2-1 over the Burkina Babes in the final of the 2022 WAFU Under-17 Championship held in Ghana. Of course, today might not be any different. Of course, we might be able to stamp our authority.
But they need to be careful.
Exactly, against Burkina Faso, because the World Cup ticket, once we're done with this game, definitely we're getting the World Cup ticket, and that is one thing that has motivated the Golden Eaglets so far. So let's see what they can do.
And the pressure will also be taken off.
Exactly.
Of course, when we get that ticket, the pressure automatically is off.
It's all the same, but then that doesn't mean we should let complacency set in.
They will go back home in tears, especially for these young lads. The World Cup is a bigger competition.
Exactly, it is a bigger stage.
On to mention names like the Kelechi and Acho, Wilfred Ndidi. There are a lot of them that the Under-17 exposed them. Kelechi Wakali, most especially, exposed these guys. So for these guys, they know what is at stake when they pick up that World Cup ticket. The pressure, of course, that is when, yes, in as much they will have a very difficult game in the semis and the finals. But then the pressure is off. We are through to the World Cup. That excitement comes with them. There's this relief. But if they fail to, God forbid, these guys will go back home crying. Because trust me, how many scouts even have watched the Under-17? But the World Cup, that's a bigger competition, and they know what is at stake. Yeah,
I think, Joseph, I quite share your opinion concerning this, because we've seen this play out times without number when it comes to our national teams, the Under-20, during the Under-20 AFCON. Of course, once they just got the ticket, what we saw was the fact that they decided to mess up the remaining games, owing to the fact that they've been able to get the ticket so far for the World Cup. But we'll see how things pans out to be for the Under-17, and we'll hope that that would not be the same, just like Nduka Ogwadi has also stated.
Just for some seconds, and you know what helped some of the young lads like Kelechi that I mentioned and Wakali, see, there's something that comes with when the commentators are running the commentary at the World Cup, the defending champions, when they start to read your profile, that alone, as a scout, okay, let me check out the list of these players. The African champion.
You'll be interested.
So it also goes past winning getting the ticket. Winning the competition will also help.
And, still talking about the Under-17 AFCON currently going on, let's also let you know that Morocco's national Under-17 team on Wednesday, that was just yesterday night, defeated their Algerian counterparts 3-0 in the quarterfinals of the 2023 CAF Under-17 African Cup of Nations and qualified for the semi-finals of the tournament. I mean, it took Morocco only 28 minutes into that game before their young striker Zakaria Kouazen scored his very first goal. And aside from that, we'll also let you know that Senegal rolled over South Africa and they are sure through to the semi-finals of the Under-17 AFCON.
Well, they're through to the Under-17 AFCON and the World Cup and, of course, the semis. Let's give you more stories here and talk about the future Eagles. You understand they are to depart for Jordan, Nengi.
For Japan, I think.
Japan,
yeah, 26th of May. But that story is a bit shaky, owing to the fact that an interview and exclusive was carried out with the coach of the national under-15 team. But he seems a bit not very sure concerning that. And Usman Haruna Lerika, head coach of the national under-15 team, has informed that they will depart for Japan on May 26th, as he revealed that he doesn't have an idea of the teams that will compete in the 4-nation tournament billed for the 29th of May in Japan. They do not have an idea of some of these teams that will be in Japan with them. I think it's an invitational tournament that will be starting on 29th of May, and possibly we might be leaving on the 26th. So I think there's a bit of back and forth right here. We're not so sure concerning that, but definitely we'll keep close tabs on that one and give you updates as it unfolds.
And just before we hit the foreign scene, this says the federal government on Wednesday in Abuja approved a sum of 2.4 billion naira for the construction of a new national sports medicine and high performance center at the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Lagos to be completed in 2026. The Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, reviewed this to journalists after the council's nearly 8-hour meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the State House in Abuja. He said, and I quote, the Ministry of Youth and Sport Development presented just one memo. The memo has to do with the National Sports Medicine and High Performance Center and the construction of a high performance center at the Package B of the Moshood Abiola Stadium. Okay, in the lack of data, scientific input into a sport development over time has not helped us to reach the maximum podium performance that can be attained by athletes. And 2.4 billion has been approved.
Exactly.
And work should kickstart in earnest.
Exactly, and that's been displayed on your screen is the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Lagos. Now, we also argued that unlike other projects in the past, the new high performance center has an inbuilt maintenance structure in its life cycle design. We'll see how that pans out to be, because we also hear that definitely that might be done in 2026. Of course, such development is what we're looking forward to whenever it comes to the stadiums in Nigeria.
All right, it's funny that, well, we read that story from the Punch newspaper, and the BSN Sports also repeated the same thing, but because as I was reading, I was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
The Moshood Abiola Stadium should be Abuja, not Lagos. Exactly. And that should be a huge error from, well, the writers of the Punch. You wrote this, and I think that will be corrected. All right, it's Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja and exactly. Not Lagos. We're going to quick commercial break, rather. We're going to quick highlight and give you what happened yesterday in the UEFA Champions League. 2-0 it ended in favor of Inter Milan against AC Milan. We'll be back.